Welcome back to Young Tutor. Today we like last time we took up the topic of algebraic expression. This time we'll be taking up the topic of cubes. So on the board we can see that it's written cubes and cube roots, but we'll be only taking up this side topic of cubes and not cube roots. We'll be covering cube roots another time. So now let's start up with cubes. What are cubes? Cubes are nothing but the numbers. Cubes are nothing but the numbers which are just multiplied by with themselves three times in a row, or just three times in general. So for example, let's take 3 cube. So 3 cube can be written as 3 into 3 into 3, which can be furthermore simplified in this format. So we can see that 3 cube is nothing but 3 into 3 into 3, or 3 to the power 3. So we just consider this power format to be also called as 3 cube, and this will be just still called 3 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 3. So what is 3 cube equal to? We can of course do simple multiplication and get it to be equal to 27, as it's just nothing but 9 times 3. So we can also consider a cube number to be equal to its square into itself, correct? Because all we're doing here is 3 square, that is 9, into 3, which is itself. So we can also consider this method, but I prefer using this or this easily because it's easier to understand. Okay, now that we've understood what are cubes considered to be, let's see some interesting patterns that form between cubes. So one of the main and most important patterns that forms between cubes is that we can take 1 equal to 1 cube, which is equal to, like, 1 is equal to any cube number, and then 3 plus 5. So the next two odd numbers in the row that we take is equal to 8, which is nothing but 2 cube. And of course you can go on forever like this by just taking the next cube, the next number, putting it over here, and then adding the next x plus 1. So if this is equal to x, the number of digits here, or we've used, that's 2 digits over here. So we'll just increase the number by 1, and we'll just put the number of odd numbers here. We can go on forever like this. Every single number that we get as an output will always be a cube number, which will keep on going in an order. So the next row will have 3 cube, after that will be 4 cube, etc. We know that square numbers actually escalate very quickly. That is, they get big very easily, and the number gets huge very quickly. For example, if you take 1 cube is equal to 1, and then 1 square equal to 1, then 2 square is equal to 4, 3 square is equal to 9, and it goes on like that, which means it nearly doubles every single time. But in this case, in cubes it goes more than just doubling. It practically or nearly close to thrice or tripling the number itself. So we can start up with, for example, let's take 1. So 1 cube will be 1, 2 cube is 8, 3 cube is 27, 4 cube is 64. It goes on getting bigger and bigger, but the number that we are using is huge, and it escalates even quicker than square numbers. So now let's see some ways that we can prime factorize these cube numbers. So let's take an example of the cube number 64. That this is equal to 4 cube, okay? 4 cube is equal to 64, and we know that. We'll just write it here for reference. So 64 is equal to 8 into 8. We know that because 64 is nothing but another square number. So it's a square number and a cube number. So 64 is equal to 8 into 8. We can continue prime factorizing this in simpler methods, that we can write this as 2 into 2 into 2 into 2 into 2 into 2. So over here we can see that 8 times 8 is equal to 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. That is nothing but 2 to the power 6. Also, we can see that all we have done is nothing but take 2 cube and multiply that by 2 cube, as 8 is equal to 2 cube. So there are multiple ways you can write this, but this is just one way to prime factorize. And remember that no matter which cube you try to prime factorize, it will always end up having 3 times, or each prime factor will appear thrice, or a multiple of 3. In this case, there were 2 sets of 3, which agrees with what I just said. Okay, so now let's see how can we let's see what can we use, or some methods that we can use to see if a number is an cube number or not. So let's take the example of just write a random cube number. Let's take 729. Okay, just before I tell you what number or what cube is it, or what is the cube root of this number, let's see what could its ones place digit equal. What could its ones place digit equal? So always look at the ones digit of this number itself. So the number is 9 and the ones digit that is 9. And remember and keep in mind this, what I'm just going to be writing. Any number that has 1 in its either you want to cube this, like if you want to cube 1, and there can be anything over here, no matter what, the last digit, that is the ones digit of this number or the answer of this cube, will also have a 1 in it. For a 2, that is anything can be anything can be behind this. There can be a 2 here. If there's a 2 in the last digit will be an 8. However, like there can be as many digits as possible here, but the last digit is important. If there is a 3 cube, then our 3 cube will have a 7 at the end, as we know that it's 27. 4 will have a 4 at the end. 5 will have a 5 at the end. 6 will have a 6 at the end. 7 will have a 3 in the end. 8 will have a 2 in the end, and 9 will have a 9 at the end. 10 will of course have a 0 at the end, that is 0 has a 0 at the end. Okay, so now let's see what is the last place value of this number itself. As we can see through this list, at the very end there's only one place where it has a 9, which means this is equal to something which has a 9 at the end, that which is cubed. Okay, actually it's just 9 cube, and the number is equal to 9 cube. 10 cube is 1000, by the way, just saying. Okay, so you should remember and memorize all of these, as it is very important, because in some cases you can see 3 is equal to 3 cube has a 7 and 7 cube has a 3. So there are some ways you can use this, but most of the numbers, as we can see, have the same number repeated in its cube. Okay, so now that you've understood the main basics of cubes, let's test your knowledge and how much you've understood of cubes by giving you a little bit of a homework. So let's start up with an easy homework, but to check if the last digit of I'll be giving you some cube numbers. I just check with these cube numbers and see if the last what could be the last digit of the cube number. that I'll be giving. I'll be giving you 3 examples. Let's start. The first example I'll be giving you will be 216. And if you can, or if you know the formula, then you can also find the cube root of this number or all of these numbers also. Okay, so this will be your homework for this topic. The other topic I taught you will be the topic where I told you about the pattern with odd numbers that we can get with cube numbers. If you want, you can go all the way to that part of the video where I've told you about that, and you can understand that again if you didn't. I want you to find the third. I'll just write it here. The third cube number using that method. Put all of your answers in the comment section. Thank you for watching. The channel name is Young Tutor.